are coming in from all over the world.
This is April O'Neil, Channel 6 News.
Do you guys not get the news up there?
I have good news for you, my lord.
Radical Retro Rewind News Brief.
Hey Radical Ones, Radical Ryan here for another Radical Retro Rewind news brief. Let's start with one of my favorites, of course, Masters of the Universe. This is for the upcoming second season of the Masters of the Universe Revelation series. After 35 years, Meg Foster returns to Masters of the Universe. People might remember Meg and her definitely standout eyes as Evil Lynn in the 1987 cult classic live action version of Masters, which we will be covering in a few months with our Sword and Sorcery Summer on our main show. But Meg is returning as the voice of Motherboard, an ancient sorceress of technology in the fight for the soul of Eternia. Evidently, she is going to be acting as Hordak's liaison on Eternia. Motherboard is a powerful sentient artificial intelligence that uses her nanovirus powers to manipulate Skeletor and the people of Eternia as she aims to ensnare the planet and Grayskull as a prize for Hordak. So, does confirm we are getting Hordak in the second season. Meg actually says in an interview, "My part in the Masters of the Universe more than 35 years ago remains one of my most cherished roles. I am both thrilled and honored to come back into the fold to embody a brilliant, all-new villainous character that adds color to a vibrant storytelling that Kevin Smith and Mattel have brought to life for fans around the world." No release date yet, Radical Ones, but we're thinking sometime in 2024. Netflix. So as we were getting ready to record today's episode, unfortunately, the day before this, the legendary Queen of Rock and Roll, Tina Turner, passed away at the age of 83. Her music has just been staples in both of our lives, David. This one is really sad because she is one of our legends, really.
She definitely made such a big mark. And the funny thing is that she was actually bigger in Europe than she was in the United States. So I can't even imagine. I think for the last decade or so, she lived in France.
Switzerland, actually, of all places.
Oh, wow. Okay. My mistake. I just thought she was electrifying. I really honestly, she's from that era of Cher, you know, when Cher first started off too. She has such a triumphant backstory as far as the abuse when it was the Ike and Tina. And we saw obviously Angela Bassett do that.
Amazing, yeah, that movie.
Yeah, like that, the movie, and kind of brought to light really what she went through. I just remember when I first saw What's Love Got to Do with It and she was strolling down the street, I was like, wow. I mean, I was a little kid. And then when she was in Mad Max, Thunderdome.
I always wished that people could sing along with me. You know, I'd love when you go to a concert and they sing all your songs. I've gotten that this time. So it's been another type of recognition for me and achievement.
She always exuded, like, she was, how do I put this? She always exuded the fact that she was a kind person, but she also looked like she could be like the Grace Jones and shred you, rip you apart.
Her legs are legendary, but even her arms were strong. She was a strong woman.
And, you know, all the things like you see performances from way back when, even when she performed with Cher, like when they were younger and starting out, I don't know. It's hard when someone that you really love and you really has brought so much joy. You know, I'm a music person. I always have been. I just felt compelled to talk about her, I guess, because she just really left a mark for me, as opposed to maybe some of the other people that we've said. You know, it's so funny that we have this joke. Years ago, I worked with this girl who said, this is so funny, it's going to sound so weird to everybody. She used to say, if a song gets in your head, just sing the song Private Dancer by Tina Turner and it will will disappear. And for me, that always worked. And so that's my...
But then do you get Private Dancer stuck in your head, though?
Because for some reason, it just cancels it out. And I go into this, like, Private Dancer was always so dramatic to me. And,
it is. I mean, it is. Like, she could do things with her voice. Definitely give you...
growls. And she could do...
yes.
rock. And she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, rightfully so.
She definitely deserved it.
She did perform in Vegas. I remember her on...
she had a 50th anniversary tour in the 2000s, which I remember. This is actually... I remember this. Tina was born Anna Mae Bullock. And she's actually born November 26, 1939. That's the one person... You know how they have the famous birthdays all the time? My person was Tina Turner. But, of course, she has the hit single, What's Love Got to Do with It? It's Gonna Work Out Fine, River Deep Mountain High, Proud Mary, Nutbush City Limits, which I love, which is actually the town that she was from. My God, what's love got to do with it? Did we mention that? We Don't Need Another Hero, which David? I don't know. That's my favorite. And it's not because of the movie. That's my favorite Tina song because even that ending, when she does that big, we don't need another, and she does that, we don't need another hero, like that little ad lib she does. I used to wake up every morning with that as an alarm thing. So, Private Dancer, the best.
She also did the Bond theme,
GoldenEye.
Which I love too.
With that Tina rasp. I don't want to fight no more. Classic after classic after classic. Truly one of a kind. Matter of fact, I want to say she became a Buddhist later in her life.
I didn't know that fact, so...
And she was very big into meditation and meditating and things like that. So, I mean, a legend, David, a legend.
She'll be missed, but we have the music, which is something that, I often think about it, like when we're gone, this sounds so morbid, but when we're gone, our podcast will still be out there.
Yes.
That's our little contribution. Hope maybe one day someone will pick it up and, listen to it and think it's funny or say, oh, wow. They really couldn't speak English barely.
They really should have had a speech therapist look at this. Tina, you are forever going to be part of musical royalty, and we will forever be playing your songs, and sad news for the music world.
First of all, I think you must make good records. I believe that's the secret to everyone's success. And then next, I would have to say work, good performances when people come to see you live. I believe those two attributes to my success, I think.
All right, Radical Ones, let's pick up the mood with some sequel movie news. So, we just did Beetlejuice this past March, and we talked about the potential sequel. Can you believe, finally, after years and years of starts and stops and being greenlit and scripts being made, Beetlejuice 2 is officially filming. Empire did an interview with Michael Keaton addressing his return to Beetlejuice. I love what Michael had to say. He says, Beetlejuice is the most effing fun you can have working. It is so fun. It's so great. And you know what it is? We're doing it exactly like we did the first movie. There's a woman in a great waiting room for the afterlife, literally with a fishing line. I want people to know this because I love it. Tugging on the tail of a cat to make it move. Beetlejuice will also bring back Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz, Catherine O'Hare as Delia Dietz, and of course, Jenna Ortega, who is rumored to play Lydia's daughter, which to me is perfect casting, especially with the Tim Burton connection with Wednesday. Beetlejuice 2 is scheduled to release in movie theaters September 6th of 2024. In other sequel news, can you believe that Disney just greenlit Hocus Pocus 3? Yes, it is officially in the works at Disney. It says that Walt Disney Studios confirms that the third adventure of the Sanderson sisters, who returned in 2022 after 29 years, I did enjoy the sequel as much as I think anyone who's seen the original one could, and who's just lived with the movie for years and years. And there's so many people that I know love the sequel, and I am thrilled for that. It definitely was not the worst sequel. I just think at this point, if they are going with a number 3, I would leave the Sanderson sisters out of this only because of how they ended it in the sequel. And I don't want to give away spoilers. To me, that would cheapen the ending. I mean, and the sisters are, of course, part of what made the original iconic. So to think of Hocus Pocus without them, but I mean, we will always wait and see on this podcast before we write off something completely, but I just don't want it to go into Disney Channel-esque proportions, and I'm okay with the Sandersons myself not coming back and continuing with other witches and what we ended with the new characters. To me, my ideal would be seeing Max, Danny, and Allison together. That's the only reason I would want to watch a Hocus Pocus 3. But Radical Ones, I might be alone on this. And if you are excited for Hocus Pocus 3, let us know. Thank you again for joining us on one of our little news brief episodes, and stay tuned for this Friday's brand new episode as we continue Sword and Sorcery Summer. Bye-bye.